Da, dobro ste čuli. Blic TV je sada dostupan i na SBB-u. I to na kanalu 17.
Dobar dan i dobrodošli na jedno od mojih omiljenih mesta u Beogradu. Ja sam Tamara i danas ću vam pokazati svašta nešto lepo što zapravo neću da nam najavljujem, neću da vam kvarim, ali imam gošću koja se zove Mabel i koja je zapravo arhitektica i projektovala je neke veoma značajne radove ovde u Beogradu, između ostalog i rekonstrukciju našeg beogradskog aerodroma koji je za mene, kao što možete da zamislite, veoma bitan. Upravo vidite Narodni muzej iza mene, tako da to je ono što ćemo vam otkriti u narednih 20 minuta. A sada da sačekamo Mabel, pa da otkrijemo još po nešto. Mabel!
Hello!
Bienvenida! Dobrodošla.
Querida, gracias.
In every language.
In every language.
So happy to have you here.
Me too. So glad to be your guest.
We're in front of this very special place in Belgrade that I know you love.
Yes, I have been already.
Let's go inside because there's so much to see.
Yes.
Come follow me.
Well,
Such a beautiful hallway, huh?
it's very nice.
You've been here before, right?
Yes, I have been, like, maybe at the beginning.
Dobar dan.
Dobar dan. Hello. Welcome to the National Museum. Drago mi je.
Tamara, drago
Nice to meet you. My name is Dana. I'm curator here in the National Museum, and I'm going to be your guide through our beautiful collection of the National Museum of Serbia.
Wow.
This is the grand hall of the museum, and all our visitors start the tour from this side. So they firstly enter here to this grand hall, and then they can start or choose which section of the museum they are going to see for one day. So we start from here, and this is the actually hall that tells us beautiful stories about the history of the National Museum as well. The National Museum was founded in 1844, which means that we are going to have 181 years. The building of the museum is specific as well, since it was a building of a bank, and this part of the building is actually younger. It's from 1930s, and the older part of the building is on the other side. You're going to see that one as well, and it's from the beginning of 20th century. So we can start with our tour from this floor.
Ready?
I didn't ask you about your interest in archaeology or art. Would you like to see a little bit of everything in our museum?
I mean, I don't know.
Diversity is always good. You know, a little bit of everything.
If I tell you, then because last time I came, I tend to focus in the archaeology. But yes, it's better if you make us discover something new.
Of course. Then we will take a walk through every section of the museum. And this is the chronological start. This is our permanent collection, which means that every time you visit our museum, you will have the chance to see all these objects. And now we are in Stone Age collection. So that's why we have all these exhalations on the wall. And we have many artifacts, original animal bones, some tools that prehistoric men were making for hunting, for making of their clothes, for easier survival as well. They had to fight wild animals to survive. And we can continue with the next subject, which is the Roman times collection. And we have many artifacts from these dishes that were used in imperial palaces. Jewelry as well, silver. Romans were big fans of silver jewelry, so that's why we have all these beautiful objects here. Imagine wearing this necklace. I suppose it's very heavy actually, and maybe the posture wouldn't be perfect wearing this, but still everything for being beautiful. So in antiquity times, people knew that, knew that rule.
I almost don't believe you that these are the real antique pieces.
Yes.
Because they look so relevant.
That's right. That's right.
So actual.
Like the coin necklace, I love coin necklaces. I think that's so still really fashionable. But these rings also look like something you would see now if you go to kind of like more of like a Greece or like also like some sort of like Italian holiday, you would get it in a market.
That's right.
Because it's so inspired by the ancient times.
And it's all Mediterranean world, so it's the sea actually that made these sculptures so
yes, and also you can see
even today.
Yeah, and also you can see the same animals, like the presence of the snake.
Yeah.
It's even now like
very popular.
And in so many cultures you see it represented. So in the color with the I think I have I have a snake on the neck. So it's
you can see the ring in shape of a snake over here.
I also have a very similar. This is incredible.
Yes.
Wow.
Most of these objects were found in graves, actually. They were found with the skeletons of the people who wore them during their lifetimes, and they were buried with those people like they're luxurious objects that tell the stories about their lives. So archaeologists found them in the original sites, on the burial sites, actually. I already explained to you that this was a building of a bank. We will have the chance to see two original safes or vaults from that period, and you will discover what is exhibited now in original safes in the museum building.
I love this. Also, it reminds me a little bit of Gringotts. You know the Harry Potter, the Harry Potter bank?
Ah, yes, there's a steps here.
So the safes are from 1933. They were produced in Germany, which is testified with these stamps on the doors. And you can enter. I will not close the door, I promise.
Promise?
Okay. Promise. Okay. You can take a look.
A submarine. Feels like.
So these are original shelves. While standing here since this was a bank, and now we exhibited our old coins collection, as you can see. And these are maybe the most interesting one for Serbian history, because these pieces are actually the first or the oldest Serbian coins. King Radoslav, who lived and ruled in the first half of 13th century, coined his own money, and these are the pieces with his symbols of his reign, and these coins were made of copper, so that's why they have this brown color. And they are very imperfect in shape, as you can see, so it's still early 13th century, so later we have more perfect examples. So in the next room, actually, we have one of the pearls of our collection, and that's original fresco painting from a medieval site. It's over there. And over here we can see 10 separate pieces, actually. Those are parts of walls of a 12th century monastery. And imagine a monastery building with very high walls covered with frescoes, and the frescoes are now unfortunately here. Why they are now here and not on the original site anymore? Well, because the monastery was destroyed several times, and it was unsafe for these frescoes to still be there because of rains, because of earthquakes, because of wars, and that's why the conservators decided to remove these parts of frescoes to Belgrade. And now here we can see the chance to see these beautiful colors and shapes. This is late 12th century art. The colors are very elegant, not aggressive at all, so we can see only these more like natural tones. And of course, all of these pieces show us faces of saints, of different stories that are actually described in the Holy Bible, angels as well, and They come from a monastery that was actually built by the founder of Serbian medieval dynasty. I already mentioned Emperor Dušan. One of his forefathers, Stefan Nemanja, was the founder of this monastery as well, and he founded the dynasty Nemanjić that ruled medieval Serbia, so very important.
And these are all frescoes, as in technique?
Yes, that's right. As in technique, like they're painted directly on the wall.
Yeah,
yes, on the wet wall, that's right.
Which is what helps, right, preserve the color as well over time.
That's right. So that's why I told you that these are parts of walls and they have to be framed like this.
With the wall.
They're very heavy paintings, actually.
That's why I was like shocked if they're real actual frescoes.
Yeah, they are.
They're actually cut the wall, and I was thinking when I came that this is like replicas. Actually, no.
Yes, these are originals. We have some replicas. I will show them to you, but these are originals.
Wow.
Awesome.
Yes. Here in the museum, you're not allowed as a visitor to touch anything, but in monasteries and churches, some of those saints are very greasy, even because people want to touch everything.
This is like incredibly well preserved. This is incredibly well preserved.
Those are original frescoes again. And this is the biggest portion that we have in one piece, actually, this composition here. Actually, over here, I can show you a trick on how to recognize Jesus Christ in Orthodox fresco painting. All of these saints have halos or golden circles around their heads, but only Jesus Christ has a cross in his halo, and that's how we can actually divide his figure from the figures of different saints. So only him has this halo with a cross, and these are his apostles. This is Saint Peter. So
I think healing of the blind is also a very kind of present thematic in the Orthodox Christianity.
That's right. That's one of the biggest miracles that Jesus Christ performed, actually. He gave eyesight to a man who was born blind, so he didn't have the chance to see anything before that. It's the most complicated icon that we have, actually. And it's the representation of the holiest traditions in Jerusalem, so in Holy Land. And over here we can see the walls of the city of Jerusalem. We can see Jesus Christ ascending, so after he was crucified, he just ascended from, he resurrected from his grave. And we have many different stories, many different saints, like the representations of heaven and of hell. So we have these hellish, like monstrous mount waiting for all the people that were bad during their lifetime to be swollen.
I mean, this is a textbook on the time. Well, you go through all the stations.
Yes.
You read all the story.
That's
incredible.
Right. That's right.
You have St. George, you have
that's right.
all the different saints.
And if you can remember the colors on the first frescoes, very elegant, very not disturbing actually. Here it's completely different because we have this aggressive red.
Yes.
So it's very different. This is 18th century and that was 12th century. So during this time span, everything changed in style, in the choice of colors.
This is not very peaceful.
It's not. It's not peaceful. It's not peaceful. And you have to be very concentrated if you want to take a look on every little story here. Yes. Seen some Pajo Jovanović's painting, but here I would like to show you paintings of another master of art, and the name of this painter is Uroš Predić. So
Like a naturalist.
He was a representative of realism, and over here we have 6 of his paintings that you can see right now. And these are the most popular artworks, so the Merry or Very Happy Brothers. This is Refugees from Herzegovina, and over there we have Orphan on his mother's grave. So these are like 3 iconic paintings that were painted by the same man in 3 years. So imagine these 3 completely different stories in 3 years, so in a row. And it only shows us how perfect as an artist Uroš Predić was actually. And each of them is full of details of these smaller stories. And this shows us the life of Serbs in Austrian Empire. These are Serbs living still in Ottoman Empire, so these are the last years of liberation. And these are refugees, so people who needed to escape, to flee from their homes and to take shelter in the mountains. So that's why we can see this desperation of their faces.
Oh, but I think this one is so...
That one is
so intense, yeah.
The most intensive, I would agree with you. And very usually we have visitors here standing longer in front of this painting, and sometimes we can even see some tears because it's a universal thing for
this one.
Everyone, because all of us have lost somebody in our lives. So it can be very emotional to just look at this painting. And again, it's very realistic, so it looks like almost like a picture.
100%.
And this is late 19th century, so it goes into our line of time that we started with. Prehistoric times, antiquity, medieval times, and now we are in New Age, so...
I mean, that's the beauty of art, you know, it can take you from like a happy moment to a historical moment to a very realistic sad moment, which again, in 5 minutes, you can go through like a hurricane of feelings.
That's right, that's right.
And it's still showing where it is, the conditions, and so you can like feed the main character into the scene, like you were part of that. So that's also important when you have the setting.
Yeah, I think also it's a child, and we're all very sensitive to children. So yeah,
that's right. It can be a dangerous painting when we have these groups of younger children. You've seen just one group. And then we try to avoid this painting because not every child is mature or strong enough to look at this painting. And we don't want them to have these sad emotions from the museum. When they are a little bit older, then we can discuss this art.
And you never know, because some kids might already be in this situation.
That's
you
right.
never know.
That's right.
Oh, but this is Queen Natalia. It's probably one of my...
You've just seen this painting on the screen.
This one is very famous.
Yes.
This one is very famous.
She's one of my favorite, our female historical figures, actually.
Yes. Serbian queen. And over here she is posing without her crown, but obviously when you look at her position, her posture, her style, her gown, it's clear that she is somebody very special. So she doesn't have to wear a crown to show that she was a queen.
Yeah.
Very self-confident lady and beautiful painting.
Beautiful. And very like recognizable, you know, in every art, no matter who the painter is, who the author is.
That's right.
For some reason, it's not even because of her face or color or features, it's because of the whole way she carries herself. She's very recognizable.
That's right. That's right.
Who painted?
Vlaho Bukovac. It's Serbian, actually Yugoslav painter, and this is the only painting that is exhibited right now that was painted by him. We have maybe 20 more of his paintings, but right now this is the only one that's on display.
Because technically it's remarkable. Like the dress is so realistic, and the how to say the name of the over the table.
Like the fur.
The fur over the table, you can feel it's like fur, and the skin of her is everything is very united. It's still like she's detaching from the background. So
that's right. That's right.
Beautiful.
Very, very nice painting. It's a famous one.
We have our artist, Ivanic, who was obsessed with his wife.
This is his wife. I was going to say.
Every painting, almost every other painting is his wife.
Okay.
And I love that. Come on.
Good.
But interestingly, before they were married, he painted his wife, later his wife, as a Roman goddess Diana, as Roman goddess this or that.
I love that. I love that.
Or a saint. But when they get married, after that, he always painted her as herself. So it's like, you are a mythological creature and now you're my wife.
Now you're human.
Yes, that's right. He humanizes her. That's right. So we can start looking at the Yugoslav art. So everything here was painted or sculpted in the 20th century. And these first pieces come from the years of the First World War. And this is the Impressionism art in this part of Europe.
I know that the Serbians were very present during the Impressionist period in Paris. Right. It was in France. It was the epicenter. Yes, you can see.
That's right. Yes. And we have some very important painters presented here, like Nadezhda Petrović, a female artist. And we have one of the most popular sculptors. His name was Ivan Meštrović, and he's the artist who made this sculpture, as well as the sculptures on the entrance of the National Museum. So this is like a heroic figure of a medieval hero. This is Expressionism art, and it's closer to the Second World War. And actually it brings us to the last section. This is the direct years of the Second World War, of abstract art. On the other side, these are social justices and injustices. So we have the chance to see these paintings of very poor people, people fighting for their rights, often painted living on streets. And we can end with this iconic painting of building a new community, new country, new city. The name of this painting is the building of New Belgrade or Novi Beograd. So completely new part of the city that started to grow rapidly after the Second World War was over. And over here we can see the workers that are actually draining the soil so that they can build the skyscrapers that can still be seen in Novi Beograd. And what is the accent of this painting is here. It's the Yugoslav flag. So it's blue, white, and red, and with a red star in the middle section, so a symbol of former Yugoslavia. Sometimes our older visitors can be very nostalgic in front of this painting because it reminds them of their youth, of their volunteer works, like here in this painting, and we can see grandmothers and grandfathers here, like
they will recognize the scene.
That's right, because they were working in the same way, so voluntarily for their country, building something new, something better.
Wow. Thank you so much for coming along this adventure with me. I wish we could have spent the whole 2 more days in this museum.
That was very instructive. I have visited before, but now I can see it from a totally different angle.
I'm so happy.
It's so different to do it like this. It was so pleasant, and it was actually like a conversation, a very interesting thing. I learned some things. today. Thank you.
And that means so much to me as someone like you with a very unique eye, point of view, with like such high credentials in what you do. To admire what we have in our museum means a lot to me.
I mean, Serbia is a wonderful country that deserves to be more known, I think. It's everything that we saw there, but I'm not sure a lot of people know.
Yeah. You know, even I think a lot of Serbian people.
Yes, because since it's there, people say, it's there, so I can go whenever I want.
Exactly.
You know, and that's why they don't go, because it's there. But
exactly. This is the blessing and the curse. I've visited Parisian museums much more when I didn't live in Paris. I visited, you know, it's always the way. But then you always feel like if it's around the corner, there's time. But I think like the best time is to do it right now, especially now that we have such beautiful exhibitions as well in the museum. My favorites are on top floor, so I would strongly recommend everybody to visit it.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of Parisianism. And also, for me, obviously, architecture.
Yeah,
so I would recommend completely that part. Like Lipinski Villa is my
Lipinski Villa, beautiful.
Yeah, beautiful.
Thank you so much for coming.
And to you for inviting me.
Absolutely. A vama hvala što ste nas gledali. Nadam se da ste uživali i nešto novo naučili. Vidimo se za 7 dana.